Welcome to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, do we have some big moves in the stock market this week. The market went ripping higher, and we're going to talk about why it went higher. Will it stay higher? What are the drivers behind this? Before we get into that, please support our channel. We're looking for 100 subscribers as a goal. Please give us a like up and support the channel. I really appreciate that. So let's get into the charts. Here we are on the SPY representing the S&P 500 daily chart. And look at this rip right here. We started the week here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, the week started here. Last week we dropped, big sell-off, dropped out of this downtrend. Monday we made the bottom of the downtrend. Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Wednesday, Fed Powell spoke. They were going to not raise hikes. They're not going to raise interest rates. They're going to watch. And then they started talking about possible, economic data. And on Wednesday, the market ripped. Okay? There's that line in the sand. Thursday, gapped up overnight, ripped again, right past this 426 line in the sand. Friday, ripped again. Why did this happen? Well, there's a lot of things going on. For starters, you have to take a look at the 10-year yield. That was at 5% and dropped to 4.5%, a 50 basis point drop in a matter of days. That is unheard of. That's the 10-year yield is supposed to be a stable benchmark. And what happened is when somebody's buying the debt, to drop 50 basis points in a matter of days, this is what you're going to get. Look at that spike. I shot up like an arrow. Parabolic. Right? It looks 437 is that next testing line. See, the low here was 433, but we passed that on Friday. In fact, the market's opened up at 433. And it looks like we're shooting for 437 as our next resistance line. Right now, yields are still at 4.51%. And also, the relative strength of the U.S. dollar has cratered. It has dropped almost a whole point. So, yeah, it's down to 105.07. And that is just, that's unbelievable. It was at 107. So, that right now, that's pretty impressive. So we are going to, let's take a look at something here. Yeah, so with all that being said, these are the real drivers behind it. We got to watch that 10-year yield. Let's take a bigger look at this and go to the weekly time frame. Here you go. Look at this. Bottom of the trend line, and look at that engulfing candle. Whew, that is incredible. And this is what we're looking at right here is the whole year. Okay, year to date. So, wow, what a major, that's like a 5.5% move. So when we were in we broke 10% from the highs, which is a technical correction. As you can see, what a correction to bring back half of that. 5%, 5.5%. That's pretty impressive. So, but man, whoever figured that out? Now, is this going to stick around? Well, I'll tell you if this is going to hold these levels or not. We're going to have to keep an eye on the 10-year yield. If that stays at 451 or drops, and the relative strength of the dollar continues to hold or drop, markets are going higher. If those two items I just spoke about go up, market's coming down. So let's take a look at the QQQ. Very similar. Sorry. remember now we had changed last week where the QQQs were in an uptrend, and we said, okay, it stopped the uptrend, and now it was in a downtrend, which we drew last week right here. And then you can see Monday, it opened, that new line of the sand was 342. It was 359. So broke out, just blew right up, and now we're already past the upper trend, upper range of this downtrend. It's going to break out of this downtrend. Well, to do so, we need to get above 371. So we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's back off and take a look at this on a weekly chart. Okay, here's year to date right here. I mean, that is, whew, look at that. That's a whole range right there. That's big. Now let's still go back to the SPY real fast and put a daily chart, and we're going to add a study here. Load study set 4 lines here. Let's see what we got. Let's take a look. Okay, this purple line here is a 5-day moving average. The yellow line is a 20-day moving average. Okay, blew past all that. We have a red line is a 50-day moving average. So look, it broke above the 50-day moving average. The green line here is a 200-day moving average. So it did break below the 200-day moving average and just blew right past it. So again, we got to keep an eye on these. Look at the volume's pretty strong, but it was also strong on these sell-offs. That's pretty impressive. Let's get rid of that study here. See if we remove all studies. And let's add something real fast here. Load study set. We're going to go to the RSI, which represents if something's like overbought, oversold. So when it was selling here, it started, if you can see here, we passed this yellow line, which is a 30. The upper line is a 70. So it started, the market started to reach an oversold census here. So over here you can see where it was overbought. We're reaching the highs. So right now we're getting up there. We're above the middle, and we're on the higher range of the things being bought. So there is room for more buying power. See how the QQQs look with that. Yep, the QQQ, same deal. Very similar. You see where it was overbought. So there was some big buying going on this week. Huge. That's pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and remove the study on that. By the way, big moves here on Palantir. Just wanted to point that out. They had some great earnings. And they gapped up, look, from $15 to $17.50. Traded right off earnings. They showed now they're starting to be profitable. And plus we have the war in Israel and AI technology. That was a huge move, and it kept going. Now where's it going to go from here? Well, its all-time high is $20.24. We're only $1.25 away from that. So that was pretty impressive. AMD, same deal. Big moves. All these stocks had big moves this week, the last few days. Apple was interesting. They put out earnings. Earnings were okay, but their outlook was weak. And what happened is the market sold off. Their stock sold off. Let's find where is Apple. They sold off, but I believe they recovered. Let's go back. Let's look at the 4-hour chart here. Here's where earnings were. Okay. Again, like I said, earnings weren't bad. They beat expectations. And look at the volatility here. They went up and then down. Then after hours, it dropped even more. Pre-market, it made it back up. Then Friday, which is this black range, this black area here. Oh, what happened here? This black shaded area here. Why is it not highlighting? There we go. That's the daily session for the day. And it made it all back. So that was quite interesting. Put it on a 1-hour chart so you can see a little better. Here we go. Market's up, earnings come out, tanked, back to where it pretty much was at 176. So that was interesting. Oil's getting hit. We're down to crude oil WTI Western Texas Intermediate. It's down to $80.89 a barrel. So we're down to $80 a barrel. So that's been, let's put it on a daily chart. Crude oil's been getting hit a little bit. But the markets, as you can see, it's why it's been coming down. Earnings are coming out. MRO had earnings, and Marathon Oil, that had an impressive move. They showed profits. This would have been a nice buy right here, $26.50, all the way up to $28. I missed that day trade. That would have been a beautiful trade. Okay, for those of you who do day trade the market, boy, there was a lot of volatility this week, and volatility brings opportunity. NVIDIA, by the way, they were breaking down to 390, hitting that support, and then, you know, when Fed spoke and the 10-year yield dropped, look what happened to NVIDIA, just shot right up. So there you have it, folks. You know, the markets right now are looking bullish. We need to keep our eye on the 10-year yield, okay, and the relative strength of the dollar. Now, right here, again, on the SPY, we got resistance, 437. QQQs, where was our resistance coming? 371. So let's keep an eye on that, and we'll see what happens. Now, would I expect a pullback? Absolutely. I mean, that's a 5.5% just in a matter of a few days. You would expect some profit taking. By the way, this also, I do believe that some of this large push was short sellers being squeezed out. So what's going to happen now? I would believe it's time for some profit taking to be taken. I would like to see a retracement down to 426 for the SPY. A 50% retracement, and same for the QQQ. Before it starts to move back up. Down to 359 would be a nice entry. Let it come back down, maybe even down to 356 in the middle of this range. We'll keep an eye on it. Check on that 10-year yield. If the 10-year yield staying low or dropping more, we may not even get a pullback. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Please support the channel, and we will keep you posted with updates. Thank you.